I'm going to share a secret from Kabbalist Berg that is going to turn this world literally upside down. And if we share this with as many people as possible, miracles will happen. Listen carefully. The Rav asked the question, do we listen to our physicians, the doctors, the medical establishment, and quarantine ourselves? That's the word the Rav used years ago. Do we quarantine ourselves when there's an affliction? Better, smarter, wiser. We must quarantine the disease, the affliction itself. Why quarantine 8 billion people while the disease spreads, and we're running from it, as opposed to just taking the disease and putting it in a box where it can no longer spread? Quarantine the freaking disease. Now the question is, how? How do you accomplish such an amazing feat? This was the function and the role of the Kohen high priest who performed this function 2,000 years ago in the Second Temple in Jerusalem. They would quarantine the affliction, quarantine the virus, the plague. Now, because of the selfish, corrupted behavior of the Jews in that Second Temple and the hatred for no reason between us, the temple was destroyed and it all came to an end. So the Israelites could no longer perform the function of becoming a light unto all the nations. It's our responsibility to bring this light to the world, to quarantine those afflictions that affect us. So how? How do we do it today? The power of the Kohen high priest to quarantine an affliction is in the Zohar. The Zohar section in the Torah portion called Tazria, and it'll be listed later, that has the power, through the power of the Aramaic letters, to reignite that power of the Kohen high priest, and with our consciousness, quarantine for ourselves, quarantine any diseases, any afflictions that are within us and within this world. So just by scanning visually or reading from right to left those Aramaic words and letters, which are nothing but channels, it's a circuit board that draws down energy from the 99% reality. Just bring your certainty to the equation. Everything else will be taken care of for you. Flip it upside down. Quarantine the disease. That's our job as Israelites. Bring that to the other nations. Then watch what happens in this world. So scan these letters, scan these words, these sentences, these verses, these paragraphs. There are 3 of them there. And if you want to go to your own personal Zohar, just open up the book Tazria and open up, I'll list it in this post where you can scan, but anywhere, scanning in Tazria, or even Pinchas for that matter, scanning that Zohar with the consciousness, meditation, intent to quarantine the disease will lead to its end. But you must marry that consciousness with your own behavior, meaning quarantine your own jealousy, quarantine your own ego, quarantine your own jealousy, envy, your own competitiveness with others, and instead unquarantine your love for other people. You don't even have to love them. Like them. Just give them some dignity, some kindness. Restrict your desire, quarantine your desire to judge others. You know, there are some people in this world, make no mistake, it begins with us, but make no mistake, that want to see negativity, want to see a recession, want to see a disease, want to see problems. But we empower them because we don't quarantine our own ego. We feed them. We give the negative establishment in this world, any negative force in this world, we give them the power through our own actions. So stop trying to change others and judging others. Even if you're right, you need to quarantine your own ego. And by quarantining your own ego, you're quarantining the plagues in this world instead of having to quarantine people. Now keep in mind, this does not mean you should not self-quarantine. We need to fight on both the 1% level, the physical reality, but we must also fight on the 99% reality. So what better thing to do than self-quarantine and battle to quarantine the affliction?